Welcome to another Pub Sports Radio NHL Play of the Day for Thursday, August 13th. I'm Ian Cameron. We got a winner in the books yesterday with Montreal-Philadelphia easily cruising under the total for a Pub Sports Radio NHL Play of the Day winner yesterday. Let's see if we can give you another one tonight. A great matchup here. Game 2, Carolina Hurricanes and the Boston Bruins. Boston minus 145 favorites in game 2, the total 5.5 in this game. If you're the Carolina Hurricanes, very, very tough loss yesterday, 4-3 in overtime. It's one of those games where each time Boston took the lead, you found a way to battle back. In that game, down 2-1, you tied it up 2-2, down 3-2, you tied it up 3-3. But unfortunately, Patrice Bergeron and that deadly perfection line with Bergeron, Marchand, and Pastrnak, how many times have they been the difference for the Boston Bruins and been the reason why they've won hockey games this season? Well, they were the reason they won again in Game 1. Bergeron with the overtime winner to get the 4-3 win for the Boston Bruins. But before we bury this Carolina team, before we sprinkle the ashes and put them under the ground, let's remember how resilient this team is and how many times they've been able to respond after a tough loss. And I think there's some intangibles that are in their favor here tonight for a potential bounce back here in Game 2. You look at the game, and Carolina hasn't had many clunkers. Carolina hasn't had many stinkers as of late. They go into that game with suddenly two unexpected scratches right before the game. Justin Williams, unspecified ailment, didn't play. Sami Vatanen on the blue line, unspecified ailment, late scratch, didn't play. So you have that already going against you early in that game. They were really outplayed for the majority of that game. Outshot 40-28 by the Boston Bruins. A couple of key calls during the game from the officials and the referees didn't go Carolina's way. And head coach Rod Brind'Amour, he made sure the officials knew about it after the game in his press conference. All of that, 40-28 outshot, couple of injury scratches right before puck drop of game 1, a couple of calls that were questionable, that were controversial, that didn't go Carolina's way, went Boston's way instead. All of that, and they still took the Boston Bruins to overtime. I would still be confident. I would still have faith and belief if I'm the Carolina Hurricanes that I've got a shot in this series for sure. That was not even close to our best game. I thought Svechnikov, Aho, and Teravainen were outplayed significantly. Their top line, Carolina, by the Boston top line. I think they've got it. They're good. They're really good players, and that's a really, really good line. I would expect them to be a lot better here tonight in Game 2 of this series. I'd also expect, because of Brind'Amour's outburst after the game yesterday, ranting about the officials and their calls in that game, I would expect the friendly whistle to be there for Carolina tonight. We've seen this many times in the NHL, especially at playoff time. Coach complains about the officiating in one game, they get an extra call or two to go their way the next game. I could see that being the case here tonight for the Carolina Hurricanes. You also have to factor in this being a back-to-back. After these teams played at 11 a.m. in Eastern time in Game 1 yesterday, they're now playing a night game here tonight, the very next day. And Carolina's got an edge in terms of their second day of back-to-back games record this season over Boston. Carolina's 8-5 this season on the second of back-to-back games. Boston's just 5-6, in the second of back-to-back games. So I would expect Carolina to be a lot better. Look, they played a really poor game by their standards, and still were right there with the Bruins with a chance to win in overtime. I think that's actually a good sign moving forward for Carolina. I think this is a good series. I think this is a long series. I think this is a zigzag series. This is a series where I think you've got a legitimate chance to make money backing the team consistently throughout this series, backing the team that lost the previous game. And of course, that's the case here with Carolina. I like Carolina here, plus 125, good underdog price to bounce back and tie up this series at a game apiece. And if they do tie up this series at a game apiece, it would probably be worth looking maybe at Boston in Game 3. I think that's the way this series could end up going, back and forth, back and forth. I still expect it to be a good series, a close series, and a long series, and I think Carolina shows that tonight. Carolina plus 125 against Boston in Game 2. That's my Pub Sports Radio NHL Play of the Day for Thursday, August 13th. I'm Ian Cameron. Thanks as always for tuning in. And a reminder to check out pubsportsradio.com every day for great content. Good luck with your wagers. Have a great Thursday, and I'll be back with you tomorrow for another Pub Sports Radio NHL Play of the Day.